Have you ever wondered how the face of warfare has changed over the last century? Our journey begins with the eruption of World War I. The year was 1914 and the world was in a state of fragile peace. But beneath the surface, a complex web of alliances, rivalries, and tensions was about to unravel. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria, a seemingly isolated event, acted as the spark that ignited the powder keg of Europe. This war was unlike any other that had come before. It was a global conflict that drew in nations from every corner of the earth and caused an estimated 16 million deaths. But it wasn't just the scale of the conflict that was unprecedented. The methods of warfare used were groundbreaking and in many ways, terrifying. The advent of trench warfare transformed the battlefield into a network of fortified ditches, where soldiers lived, fought, and often died meters away from their enemies. The static nature of this warfare led to a stalemate that lasted for years, with neither side able to make significant advances. The introduction of tanks represented a significant shift in tactics. These armored vehicles, a British invention, were designed to break the deadlock of trench warfare. Though slow and cumbersome, they struck fear into the hearts of soldiers on the ground and marked a turning point in the war. Perhaps one of the most horrifying innovations was the use of chemical weapons. Chlorine gas, mustard gas, these were weapons designed not for precision, but for terror. They caused unimaginable suffering and marked a dark chapter in the history of warfare. The First World War was a time of rapid change and brutal conflict. It was a war that shook the world and reshaped the geopolitical landscape. It saw the old ways of fighting swept aside, replaced by new, more deadly strategies and technologies. World War I, also known as the Great War, marked the dawn of modern warfare. It was a conflict that set the stage for the century to come, a century that would see warfare evolve in ways that were once unimaginable. Just 2 decades after the Great War, the world was plunged into conflict once more. The year was 1939 and the world stood on the precipice of another catastrophic war, World War II. It was a conflict born out of the ashes of the Treaty of Versailles, economic instability, and the rise of totalitarian regimes in Germany, Italy, and Japan. The war was truly a global affair, with battles taking place in Europe, Asia, and Africa. It was on these varied landscapes that some of the most significant military strategies of the 20th century were born. For instance, the Blitzkrieg, or Lightning War, was a strategy employed by the Germans to create disorganization among enemy ranks through quick, concentrated attacks. And then there was the Battle of Britain, where the Royal Air Force defended the United Kingdom against the largest and most sustained aerial bombing campaign to that date. It was a testament to the evolving importance of air power in modern warfare. But it wasn't just strategies that evolved. Technological advancements played a pivotal role in shaping the course of the war. One such advancement was the aircraft carrier. This floating airbase allowed nations to project air power far from home, changing the dynamics of naval warfare. Radar, too, came into its own during World War II. It provided an unseen advantage, allowing nations to detect incoming enemy aircraft from miles away. This gave them crucial time to prepare defenses and counterattacks. Perhaps the most significant, and certainly the most devastating technological development of World War II was the atomic bomb. The bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945 illustrated the destructive potential of nuclear weapons, ushering in a new era of warfare and international relations. Yet, the war also served as a catalyst for change. It led to the creation of the United Nations, aimed at promoting international cooperation and preventing future conflicts. It changed borders, economies, and societies. It influenced arts, culture, and technology. World War II was a conflict that changed the world and warfare forever. It was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, and a stark reminder of the catastrophic consequences of war. It was a time of heroes and villains, of innovation and destruction, a time that continues to shape our world today. As World War II ended, a new conflict was just beginning. This was no typical war, but a chilly standoff between two superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union. Welcome to the Cold War era, a time of suspicion, espionage, and a nuclear arms race that would shape the world as we know it today. The Cold War was a war of ideologies, of capitalism versus communism, each side aiming to spread their influence across the globe. But it was also a war of military strategy and technology. The Korean War, often considered the first proxy war of this era, saw the introduction of jet fighters into combat. These high-speed, high-altitude machines changed the face of aerial warfare, providing a stark contrast to the propeller-driven aircraft of the world wars. In the jungles of Vietnam, helicopters took center stage. The Bell UH-1, or Huey, as it was affectionately known, was a symbol of the Vietnam War. Its ability to quickly transport troops and supplies, evacuate the wounded, and provide close air support made it an invaluable asset. This was the first war where helicopters played a significant role, marking a shift in warfare tactics to more mobile and flexible strategies. But the most significant development of the Cold War era was undoubtedly the growing importance of nuclear weapons. The United States and the Soviet Union engaged in a dangerous race to amass these weapons of unimaginable destruction. The threat of a nuclear war loomed over the world, creating an atmosphere of pervasive fear and tension. Yet despite this threat, the Cold War never turned hot. It was a war fought through proxy conflicts, political maneuvering, and a relentless competition for technological dominance. This era forever changed the nature of warfare, with innovations in military technology and strategy shaping the conflicts of the future. The Cold War era was marked by a constant threat of nuclear war, and saw the rise of proxy wars. It was a time of transformation, a time when the world held its breath, hoping that the chill of the Cold War would not erupt into a nuclear winter. In the wake of the Cold War, warfare took yet another dramatic turn. What we now refer to as modern warfare began to take shape, a form of conflict that was vastly different from what had come before. A clear example of this shift can be seen in the Gulf Wars. These conflicts marked a paradigm shift in the way wars were fought, with a greater emphasis on precision, advanced technology, and information warfare. They showed the world a new kind of warfare, one that was less about brute force and more about strategic precision. Then came the war in Afghanistan, a conflict that highlighted the rise of asymmetrical warfare. This is a type of conflict where the sides are not evenly matched in terms of military power, but the weaker side uses unconventional tactics to fight against a more powerful opponent. In Afghanistan, this involved guerrilla warfare, suicide attacks, and improvised explosive devices. But perhaps the most significant development in modern warfare has been the War on Terror. This global campaign against terrorism has seen conflicts fought not just on physical battlefields, but also in the realm of information and cyberspace. This brings us to the new frontiers of modern warfare, the use of drones in cyber warfare. Unmanned aerial vehicles or drones have become a common tool in modern conflicts, used for surveillance, targeted killings, and even delivering aid. They represent a shift towards a more remote style of warfare, where soldiers can be removed from the physical dangers of the battlefield. Cyber warfare, on the other hand, represents a completely new battlefield. This is a domain where nations use digital attacks to disrupt, destroy, or gain advantage over their adversaries. It's a form of warfare that doesn't involve physical violence, but can have just as devastating effects. This shift towards technology and information-based warfare represents a significant change in how conflicts are fought. It's a shift that has made warfare more complex, more remote, and in many ways, more dangerous. Modern warfare is increasingly being fought not on battlefields, but in the digital realm. From the trenches of World War I to the digital battlegrounds of today, warfare has changed dramatically. Over the course of the last century, we've witnessed an evolution that has reshaped the face of conflict, and in turn, the course of history itself. We journeyed from the muddy fields of Ypres and Somme, where the first tanks rumbled across no man's land, introducing a new era of armored warfare. We saw the birth of aerial combat as biplanes took to the skies, turning the heavens into another battlefield. Then came World War II, a conflict on an unprecedented scale that saw innovation and devastation go hand in hand. The advent of the atomic bomb, the horrors of the Holocaust, the blitzkrieg tactics of the Third Reich, and the island-hopping strategy in the Pacific, each a stark testament to the deadly ingenuity of mankind. The Cold War brought its own unique brand of conflict. It was a war of ideologies, fought not in the trenches, but in the hearts and minds of the people. Yet, it also saw the space race and the creation of a nuclear arsenal that could annihilate humanity several times over. It was a time of espionage, proxy wars, and the ever-present threat of mutual destruction. Then we shifted to the era of modern warfare, where technology reigns supreme. Drones patrol the skies, cyber warfare infiltrates our infrastructure, and precision strikes have become the norm. The battlefield has expanded beyond the physical realm, extending into the digital landscape. Throughout these periods, strategies have evolved, alliances have shifted, and technology has advanced at an accelerating pace. Each era brought with it new challenges and new solutions, forever altering the way nations wage war. As we look to the future, one can only wonder, what will be the next revolution in warfare? Will it be a shift in tactics, a leap in technology, or perhaps a change in the very nature of conflict itself? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, the study of military history offers invaluable insights into our past, present, and potentially, our future.